up next?
Welcome, Internet, to the Xbox Empire podcast, part of the Play Some Video Games network of podcasts. I'm Elaine. Donnie's here. What's up?
What's going on?
Dude, I don't know. It's Wednesday. We're back on Wednesday. Wednesdays are good.
Hopefully, I fixed the chat tonight. Chat will have to let me know how I sound.
Look,
but
there was a microphone malfunction.
It's a new mic. It's a new mic.
Perfect. Nobody's perfect. Okay?
I did fix it, though. I found out what it was, so I was perplexed. I was confounded. I was befuddled. I was
befuddled.
Whatever. I was looking through my computer. Audacity had the right mic. Melon had the right
That's
mic.
so weird.
Everything was looking right. And then I opened up Windows 10, the microphone config area, and it has a default mic option, and it was set to my webcam, which has never happened. And I record 3 podcasts a week for...
That's the thing that blew my mind. You recorded Shaq the day before, and it was, I was like, how did you? But look, Windows 10 decided this week for me after an update that it would just remove my Wi-Fi driver. It would make like it never existed at all. And I literally had to, and I was explaining this to my husband because I don't use a wired connection down here because of where my PC is. I had to take a USB drive and move drivers over like it was 1997. And I was like, man, I'm cursing down here. My son is like, Mom, are you cool? Like, what is
router
happening?
settings and stuff would be backed up in the cloud or something by now. Like the fact that you have to resort to a key.
It was embarrassing. It was an embarrassment. I couldn't believe that it couldn't auto detect and pull the driver out of Windows. It just decided Wi-Fi no longer exists.
Do you have like pods and stuff?
No, because I have a very vertical house. It's very small, and I'm right below the router right here. So I get great pull down here. It was just...
I have the Google Pods, and it is taking care of all of my internet configuration issues for like 4 years. Like ever since I bought them, I've really never messed with it since. And when I switched services, all I had to do was rename my new Wi-Fi with the same stuff, and it just plugged right into the Google and kept working.
If this would not have been...
It's so easy.
If the PC detected I had a Wi-Fi device installed for signals, this would have been a non-issue. It was actually Windows that just said, "Nah, you don't have Wi-Fi anymore. You have Bluetooth." I went into the displayed devices. It was like, you have Bluetooth, and you can do Ethernet.
Here's a speaker.
But I don't know what Wi-Fi is. What's Wi-Fi? Who's that? What's she look like? Girl, what?
So in my aim to fix it, I disabled every input audio microphone. In use or not in use. So like the webcam, the Razer, just cannot use the microphone anymore. It's disabled at the driver level.
That's what I did with my Logitech at one point. I don't know if it was on this machine, but I because it just, Windows just does whatever it wants to do. I don't like it. That's right, Internet. Sometimes we have technology issues that need to be solved on an Xbox podcast.
I hated that it was on that show. I really enjoyed our show last week. I thought it was really good.
Still good.
I did my best. I hope nobody just unsubscribed. I did my best to make it sound pretty good.
If people unsubscribe because one episode was not perfect audio, then I'll flip a table.
I've totally turned off podcasts, but
I've never unsubscribed.
I listen to a lot of podcasts, like sports podcasts.
Oh God!
So sometimes they'll just have people call in on their phone.
No.
And you can hear them on the cell phone, and you can hear the car and stuff. And I'm like, I'm not listening to this.
If your audio quality is a persistent issue, or you do that with guests often, then yeah, I might fall off and not subscribe. But if one episode isn't perfect, I'm not going to have a hissy.
I'd like to think
a child.
That all of the elbow grease into it shined it up pretty good. It wasn't great, but it sounded like a person with a bad microphone. It didn't sound like it wasn't hard to listen to. You could listen to it. So.
It was still a delight. We're still a delight, Donnie.
I hope so. How you doing, Elaine?
Hey, you know what? I'm all right. My kids are on spring break soon. I'm looking forward to my children being on spring break because it lowers my threshold of stress. Mine will just leave me alone and play video games.
See, it's like now where we are now, it's like I think spring break, all the kids that are in school should leave, and all the kids that are home should go to school.
Should go to school. Just we need a break.
Can we swap them out?
Well, like, look, everybody in my family has been vaccinated except the kids, including my mom and my brother.
Nice.
So, like, over the summer, my mom said she would play Camp Nona and take the kids for a week in June, a week in July, and a week in August.
That's awesome.
I'm saving my vacation time.
Nice.
I just want to take a nap in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
But with the kids on spring break, I don't have to like get up quite as early, and I don't have to try to juggle work and school. So it gives me a little bit more mental capacity for video games.
We're doing so good on the vaccination front at work that I think we'll be, well, I don't want to say anything that would get me in trouble.
Hey, don't get in trouble.
Yeah.
Don't get in trouble. It's good. It's better.
I don't think we'll be operating as long as many originally thought.
That's good.
Because the county is already over 40% of the total population having received at least one dose.
One dose. Jersey is pushing up there too, and there's open appointments now that are sitting.
Like if you compared us at like the per capita level, we're like number 3 against states.
Nice, man.
We're like way up there. So
dude,
they're crushing it.
I just wanted enough people in our direct bubble to be able to get vaccinated so that the kids could stay with my mom without me having to be worried about either my mom or the kids, because the kids can't get a vaccine. So
yeah, my in-laws are trying to do the same. It's just they want me to be included. I'm like, I don't want to go.
No, I don't. My mother is great. My mother's like, you can come and stay for a few hours when you drop them off, and then go home and just bring them back in a week.
My in-laws got vaccine, and now they're trying to organize a boating trip for all of us. I don't want to go on a trip. That's me. I'm like, I don't want to go on a boat. See, to them, they think of that as a great way to spend a Saturday. To me, that is a wasted Saturday.
I don't want to go so far as to say wasted, but that's just like sunburn and regret for me.
We're not even there yet in terms of the sun. It's just like, to me, it's wasted because it's like, that's 8 hours of time that's lost.
I mean, I don't know.
Because I'm on a boat.
Doing, with your flippy floppies?
Yeah, I'm like,
dolphins doing flips. That was for anybody who cares about that song.
Right.
So. Have you, besides negotiating with your in-laws over boating, that's I'm going to put that on a condolences card to you that I'm going to send. I'm sorry for negotiating over boating. Have you played video games while you were negotiating over boating?
I have played video games this week.
Tell me about.
First thing I want to do is I got me one of these.
So I want to talk about this. So I
got the special one. Look at it. It's got Game Pass. It says Game Pass.
Donnie is holding the Razer Kishi, which is a controller that pulls apart and you put your phone in the middle, and it operates as a controller. And he's got the slick limited edition one that says Game Pass.
Xbox Switch.
It becomes your phone becomes the Xbox Switch. How do you feel about that thing? Because I'm with some of the news that we will discuss later, I'm on the border of picking one of those up.
Ooh.
And I'm kind of curious how you feel about it, sir.
Well, Game Pass via the cloud is still a mixed bag.
Agree.
So the controller doesn't fix it because it's still kind of where it is. It's kind of buggy. I played it. I got a new Chromebook this week too, so I've also been playing on my Chromebook. It's better than it was the last time I had messed with cloud. I haven't messed with cloud since really the Series X launched.
Yeah.
Like leading up to it, I was kind of messing around with it. I was never going to play that way, but like in a pinch, in a bind, on a boat with adequate Wi-Fi signal, like maybe it would suffice. Testing it here at home is probably the best case environment with my gigabit internet. So I played some Narita Boy, which I've been playing this week, which I'm actually excited to talk about. I played some Gears 4.
Okay.
And it's good. It's playable.
Okay.
It's playable. It can do like, I'd rather play Gears 4 like that than trying to do Gears 4 like on the Switch natively. Because, like it's better. It looks good. It runs well. But, like the app just kind of freezes and crashes at times.
Yeah.
I haven't had that happen to me, though, when I'm playing a game.
So is it just in the browsing and transitioning? Yeah. It always seems to be that back-end stuff that those apps like.
Yeah, it's like when it's sending you notifications or like when you're starting it up, like maybe it doesn't connect all the way or connect long. And now I will say the load times are long.
Atrocious. Yeah. I mean,
they're so long.
Sure.
And I don't know because it's like the Xbox One S is powering the cloud at the moment. So is that just what Gears 4 loads on the One S, or is it like longer than I now want Digital Foundry to give me like cloud load times versus native console load times.
I can almost guarantee it's longer than a native load because you're talking about passing it through internet handshaking also, right?
And I don't know. I want to say that maybe it's just having gotten accustomed to Series X life,
that's a... Like,
it feels like an eternity.
So that's the thing. And the worst part about it is when you're doing it on your phone, you can't just pick up your phone and check Twitter.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Because that's what I used to do when I was like the 1X.
The hardest challenge with this is I only have one phone. So it's hard for me to take pictures of this because my phone.
It's a first world. Well, ladies, I only have one phone.
I need another phone. I need a new phone.
You don't need another phone. You need your spouse to let them borrow.
That's
your
what
phone.
it was. As I was yelling, I was like, "Melissa, come take a picture of my phone," which is a weird thing to say.
Yeah, like that's how you know you've been married a minute when the requests get that kind of weird.
Okay, as a controller, just by itself.
Yeah.
And for the record, I bought this from an industry vet, and I paid full price. Right, so like,
so is that $99?
Yeah.
That's the price point of this device, correct?
$89.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're in the ballpark
like
of 100.
Yeah.
$100 is not an insignificant amount of money.
So like, this isn't like my opinion from somebody who got one off eBay for like $25 or whatever at this point. So even with that said, I quite like it. D-pad feels good. Buttons feel good. You can control your entire phone interface with it.
Oh, that's
so even
cool.
when you're hopping from, so like if I was to pull this up here, like I can just scroll through and actually
that's cool.
launch apps and stuff like that. So it makes it very easy to use. It's a full, I would say Bluetooth, but it's not because it plugs in USB-C. So it's a full native controller. So what that means is I can boot up Grand Theft Auto Vice City, which I have multiple times in the last 24 hours.
That's kind of ridiculous.
And play Grand Theft Auto Vice City on my phone with a controller. And one of the things that I wanted to do was I wanted to pull out a clip, and I'm just not going to because they're across the room. So one of the things that I like about this a lot better. So like when they first announced this, I was like, oh my God, it's so expensive.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
You know, it's like, I don't want to do that. And then when they came out the clips, I was like, oh, I'll just get the clip $7 and save myself some money.
I have a clip. I have a decent clip.
Right.
Slightly better than $7 clip.
I think that is the appropriate way to go if this is something you're just never going to use, right?
Sure.
That said, once I got my clip, it dawned on me pretty soon of just what a contraption that thing is to look at, to have.
Yeah.
You've got your phone, you've got a full controller, it's snapped to the thing. It's like, this is much better. This is a much better, sleeker way to enjoy that, even with the cost. The fact that I can play native games on it is a big deal for me because I'm not sure how much our listeners may have picked up on this for a long time. I'm very much a Grand Theft Auto fan. I love some Grand Theft Auto games, particularly Vice City and 3. These are like some of my favorite Vice City games or Grand Theft Auto games. The mobile ports of those games are stunning.
Yeah, they're very good. They're very
excellent.
Very good.
And if you have a decent phone at this point, this is a Pixel 4, you can run those things at high shadow fidelity, full resolution, full draw distance, like in all of the best. Like I can play Grand Theft Auto Vice City better on my phone than I can on my PlayStation. Because
that's kind of rad.
PlayStation's the only one that got the port of it. It's not even on Xbox.
That's true.
So like, but it runs better. It literally is a better game. It's clear. It's sharp. So I've been having a ball driving around, little Keisha controller, listening to the tunes. Vice City, like hijacking people off scooters.
I mean, you're selling me this. Like Vice City was very good. Like
it's very.
You're just selling.
I took pictures of it today, and people were like, "Wait a minute! So you got the xCloud thing, and you're just playing Grand Theft Auto?" I was like, "That's right."
Yeah, sure. Why not? What's your problem? I would probably just be playing Cook Serve Delicious. Don't at me. Like, don't at me. I don't care.
And the beautiful thing about it is, if you told me I love Vice City so much that I'm going to buy this controller just so I can play it, my response to you is good investment. Because this is a much better way to play it than with the stupid touch controls. I don't like right at home.
I hate touch. There are very few exceptions to my dislike of touch controls. Certain deck builders, like I play Magic the Gathering Arena on my phone off and on. That's fine. It's totally fine for that because it's built around a touch interface kind of anyway, like mouse and keyboard wise, mouse wise. But no, I'm not driving a car with touch controls. Like,
once Epic and Apple figure it out, I'm sure Fortnite on phone will be greatly improved with something like this.
So does it plug into the USB-C port at the bottom of your
directly.
phone? So what is
just stretches in here.
I was going to say, what's the wiggle for different types of phones to fit
It's a lot.
Okay. Yeah,
like,
that seems all right.
There's some space both directions, wide in length for my phone.
Okay.
And the Pixel 4, not the biggest phone by any means, but it's, like I think your standard good size phone this day.
Yeah,
now,
I have a Note,
it is USB-C dependent.
I have USB-C.
Yeah, so if you're rocking some old school stuff, like Jack...
I'm not old.
Jack's phone is USB, like mini USB. I was like, sorry, kid.
Ew.
But it snaps together when you take it out.
See, that's dope.
You just fit in your pocket or throw in your backpack, which is where I'll have mine. I mean, this is it's an enjoyable way to play.
I kind of want to get one, and I think I just might stock a few sales, because sometimes I've seen it go lower than its retail price. I've seen it, lower.
I could have easily had one about $30-$40.
Yeah.
And I really was going to buy one, and I'd reached the end of my ropes. Here's the thing. I wanted this one.
I know what you
I wanted this one for so long.
How much do those go for on eBay?
They don't.
Oh,
I've had alerts set up for like 8 months on the Game Pass edition. I'm like, I want the one that says Game Pass.
That he's not using for Game Pass, y'all.
So I sent out some DMs and I was like, hey, brass tacks. I want one of these.
You leveraged your professional, we're going to put this in loose quotation marks, connections to buy a thing. I'm proud of you. That's not weird at all.
Thank you.
It's fine.
I mean, look, it was a Hail Mary at best. Here's what it was. I reached the end of my rope where I was like, I'm just going to buy a black one. And then I was like, well, before I do,
I know a guy.
So like
what you did.
I even I totally went to Razer.
Oh,
got in their DMs on Twitter and everything. I was like, can I buy this one? Please? I'll give you. I offered twice. I was like, I'll buy double the price. Just sell me that one. Dude. And they're like, no, it's impossible.
They did a deal with Microsoft.
That's the problem with rarity things, right? You know, and you know me, like I've got custom switches, I've got custom controllers.
Look, we both have problems.
I wanted the branded one.
Yeah.
I like that stuff. I got my DualShock, I've got my other DualShock I got my Colorware DualShock, got my sweet Wind Waker controller.
I'm sitting in a room filled with utter and complete nonsense around me. I have tattooed things on my body. That's dope. I love that. See, you and I both have the same affinity towards dumb crap. So I get you. Okay,
the joy that I had when I found this somebody would make this for me, I lost it. So
I love controllers.
I wanted that one. And here's the thing about me that I've learned for the last 10 years, right? Okay. So basically my professional career. So like before I had this job, right? I started in 2009. So before 2009, when I was in college and everything, I bought what I could afford. Right, I was trading and getting in a deal and whatever would help me save
grad school money. I scraped, and I'm rebuying some of that stuff now.
That's it. Now
on the premium market, like an idiot, because I had no choice. I'm doing the same thing.
Exactly. Now I'm rebuying the stuff that I wanted, or I don't have the stuff I want. I have the stuff I could afford. And it just makes me want the thing that I wanted. So I'm willing to go and buy the thing that I want. I want the one that says Game Pass on it, so give me that one.
Look, man, I walked into a used game shop in my area. This was before COVID. And sitting behind the counter, I don't know if you remember, they released 2 special edition controllers, one for the PlayStation 2 and one for the GameCube that went along with Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
And they were chainsaw shaped, okay? My butt bought both of them. They're on a cabinet behind me. I paid premium for those things. They're brand new and they're stupid. And I am in love with them.
A couple years ago, I had dug out my N64 because I was going to play the wrestling games with Jack.
Oh, baby.
My old deck is all beat up and scuffed and everything, and I've had that deck for 25 years. I've had that deck with me forever. I've got new cables and like third-party cables and everything, and I was like, but it's old and it's beat up and it's smudged. It's got like sticker residue on it. I'm like, this isn't nice. I wanted to buy a nice one. So I imported one from Japan, and now I'm not sure if you've seen my new one, but the one that I've had for a couple years now, it's crystal blue. I have the ice blue.
I have almost walked out of a store with the green one more than once in a retro shop, but they go pretty pricey in box.
I got that with all matching controllers and cables.
Yeah, welcome to my life.
Just because of how it looks.
Yes,
and it sits in a cabinet. You don't even see it.
Oh, you see mine. Mine's on a little shelf, so I might actually buy the one. But look, so what I'm trying to say to you is, there's no judgment from me over you.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
I get it. Do you know what I mean? Now that I can do it. I'm lucky enough that I married somebody who just looks the other way.
Yeah.
Like he's like, you know what? Whatever you want to do.
My wife is more like, she's like, are we okay? Yeah, we're okay. Okay, then.
He's an accountant. He's like, we're paying all the bills. We'll pay off the house and reasonable. He's like, just do whatever stupid thing you want to do.
Nice.
He's like, you're cheap. This is cheaper than $400 shoes. So the way
it's cheaper
I see it
than
is
golfing. I could be golfing every week.
He could be golfing.
It's a lot cheaper than that. So yeah, I like the controller. It gets a thumbs up from me. It's pretty good. I did have somebody on Twitter tell me that they said that the triggers sucked. I like them. I think they're good.
Are they
they're
kind of
squeezy. They're squeezy. They have like a spring or something in there. Here, you can almost hear it.
All right. I mean, look, for something like this, like for what
it's a mobile controller.
How's that D-pad on that controller?
Good. I haven't played anything with it, but it feels good.
I'm gonna try.
Feels better. This D-pad feels better than some of the controllers that I've bought for Switch. Actually,
I was just gonna say, if you're gonna go with Switch on this one, then I'm with you, bro. I've bought a lot of Switch controllers, and most of their D-pads are trash. So,
I do want to talk about Narita Boy.
Yeah, I want to talk about it too. I installed it and started it briefly, but you've played a lot more of it than me. I am here for its vibe in a big way, and I'm kind of curious how you feel about this thing.
Yeah, presentation out of the gate really kind of sets a tone. It's weird because it's not new, but it does what it's doing in a way that I don't think any other games are going for. It's got that. Right. I don't know how the best way to describe it. It's 80s.
Yeah, it's got it. Okay, it kind of evokes for me, not necessarily in exactly the way it looks, but in my brain, the Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon DLC they did, just because it's weird and goofy and silly 80s. It's so hard to explain.
Yeah, it's 80s. It's synthy. It's like punkish.
Yes.
To me, like the story is like Matrixy, but there's just like Bill and Ted vibes, Terminator vibes. Like it's all in there. The story is bonkers. If you sit there and read the dialogue, it's nuts. But what it is an action adventure platformer. So you are jumping across levels, fighting little bad guys to pick up, whatever unlocks the door that you pass at some point. We had some minor discussion in the Discord about it where I guess some folks are calling it a Metroidvania. I wouldn't. I think it's a step too far. You do backtrack, but this is completely different than when I think Metroidvania. I think a labyrinth that unfolds to you as you get new skills that increase your abilities to find new things. But when I say find new things, like within the area that you are.
Okay.
Right? So like you look up in the air and you're like, I can't reach there.
Okay.
But one day I will be able to.
Well, does this have at least the piece of it that you do backtrack and open new areas because you have new skills?
Yes.
Because I think this is Metroidvania has become a layered conversation, right? It could mean a big map. That's what you first described. But I think a lot of people use almost the light version of it to explain like skill progression and opening up areas that you've passed by once.
So far, the layout has been basically the same. You continued the path forward as far as you can go to obtain something, and then you come back and open on something else up to go on the next path.
Okay.
I don't call that a Metroidvania.
No, that's more direct. I wouldn't use
Super
that
Mario
word.
World had stuff like that.
Yeah, that's secret exits and stuff like that.
That's not really Metroidvania.
I agree. I think in the purest sense of whatever we're calling a Metroidvania, if you really want to get technical, then no. But there is skill progression, you're telling me.
But you'll fight new enemies on your way back, but there's like nothing new there. Like if anything, on the second time, I was just running.
Yeah, that's not... So the Messenger did some of this past mid-game. Where you were doubling back to look for something in the same areas, but nothing really changed. Like there was a skill flip that changed your interaction with the background of the level, but I don't think I would call that Metroidvania.
I think the reason that people are maybe going down that path is there's no map and it doesn't directly like tell you where to go. It's like, hey, here's the key to go to that place you need to get to, and then like you got to go find the door.
That's Dark Souls.
I haven't been lost per se. Because there's really no wrong way to go because you'll go to the edge of the screen where you can't go any further. So it's like, it's not here. Go the other way. And you just
it's a video game is what you're telling me.
Yeah. But its story is crazy. I love the writing and like this world building that they're doing. I think it's really fun. The action is like crunchy. Like it's not like Katana Zero. It's not smooth. It's not fast. You don't feel like an assassin.
I agree. From the
this
little
is
bit
very much, this is very much like just hack and slash kind of crunchy combat. You'd be smacking some folks. It's cool that you get this Lancer sword, and it's like this light beam sword, and this little whatever. But he also is a shotgun.
Yes, great, perfect. Video games. I'm here for this. Okay, you've just told me things that I'm excited about. Does the combat, because I only just started, does the combat get more nuanced and harder, or is it just kind of...
I don't know if I've gotten that far yet.
Okay, fair enough.
I've played it for maybe 2 or 3 hours. I've beaten 2 bosses.
No, that's not bad. I mean...
And it's more of the same. It's hack and slash, it's... You've got the shotgun that you can use, or you can use the beam if you charge it, and then you've got your attack, right? You've got your light attack, your slash attack, and then you've got your heavy. And the heavy in this is like a home run swing where you charge and you let it go. It reminds me a lot. I was playing it today and I was thinking about it. I was like, this is not all that unlike Travis Strikes Again.
I was going to say you're evoking that game, not the other two in the series, but that game. And
but Travis Strikes Again, like this feels like that in a way, without like all the extra mini modes and all that kind of stuff. But like the main game, Travis Strikes Again, when you were just in the level fighting folks, getting to the next area, that's kind of what this feels like with all the 80s stuff thrown on top of it.
I think that's cool. I wasn't asking if the combat got more nuanced because I need every video game to do that. You know what I mean? It doesn't always have to be that way. Like it can just be a little bit less finessed and still fun if the world is good enough to support it. I don't care.
It's like, got all that chromatic aberration.
Yeah, dude, it's so cool. It's so
all
cool
the
looking.
Neon prism light bins. It's got all that stuff in it.
It makes you
the glitch effects.
It looks like it dropped acid. There's no other way to say it.
It's so funny because it's like it took all of the video effects that the 80s are known for and put them all on screen at one time.
At one time. It's like, oh boy. It really is. It's funny because even looking at it in screenshots, you can actually feel that, even when it's not in motion, which is wild.
I think it's captured some appeal because as I've been posting screenshots about it for the last 3 or 4 days, people are asking me about it. Now, the interesting thing is this game's $25. I can't say yay or nay if I'd recommend it. I think on presentation alone, it sets apart.
Yeah.
Like it stands on its own. So if you're looking at it and you're like, that looks cool, it's probably worth it. But Game Pass, like this is on Game Pass, day one launch Game Pass. You can play on PC. Yeah, I played it on my phone with the little controller. Play on your console. So get it on Game Pass.
This also dropped on PlayStation. Did this drop on Switch?
Yeah, it's on Switch too.
Is it on Switch? I'm curious if they'll do a limited run of this. If I really love it, I would buy a cart.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, if I really like the story,
then I would buy a physical cart though. That's where I would go instead of buying it digitally on Switch. We've had this conversation. We're both stupid. So
yeah, I bought more of that stuff. You haven't seen it yet.
I don't. Oh, you did?
Seen it yet. I got to get something to go in my Ori section.
Oh Lord.
So I bought some Ori stuff.
Look, people have been tweeting at me about limited runs Doom collection that's coming out.
Yeah.
You don't have to at me. I'm going to buy it. Don't get nervous, y'all. It's going to be done. That comes out on Friday, and just the steelbook with the screaming face background. Don't worry, y'all. Don't get nervous. It'll be mine. I make very questionable decisions. Have you played anything else, or has it mostly been that and Kishy time?
I played Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare
is great.
Looks freaking fantastic on Series X. It looks amazing, actually. There have been moments I've been playing that. I played that a lot over the weekend. There are moments where I just stopped. I was taking pictures of my TV screen. I was like, this game it's 12 years old.
It's wild, right? Like even the original Red Dead Redemption, because I played that game very late. I played it right before 2 came out. Not on the Series X, but on the One X, and it still held up even then. I'm very impressed with games that can do that. It's so easy for them. It looks
better than some remasters look that they recharge you for.
Wild.
So I've been playing Undead Nightmare, and then today I downloaded it and hopped into Hitman's 3's free to start thing.
Yeah, so for anybody who doesn't follow news, that's not your job, it's I guess our job. They dropped essentially like a starter pack for Hitman 3 that's free. And it gives you the Dubai level and maybe one other thing. I cannot remember. At the very least, it gives you the first Hitman 3 level to play to your heart's content. What do you think, Donnie?
I've only done the training. I'm still in the training mode. I was just doing the free mode before we hit recording, where I was trying to figure it out on my own. It's pretty.
Yeah.
I still don't know. So, like, I guess is the objective of the game to accomplish all of the like little scenarios that it gives you, like, hey, like kill the guy on the boat, kill the guy in the thing.
So the objective of the game is to murder that guy.
Right.
How you go about murdering that guy and how many times you replay the level to hit those scenarios is your call. Some maps
but
I
like
don't love. So
the way that players play, I imagine, is to try and do all those things. Like that's
some
the
people
challenge.
Some people go through and do that because it helps them unlock things and get mastery on the level. Some people, there's these things called escalations that will change the rules of engagement for the level in particular ways, and they will get harder and harder. Those are really interesting. It depends on what you want out of it, right? Some people just want to finish the levels, and that's
Is there a story that links all the levels together?
Yes, there's an overarching trilogy story that has started at that first game and carried through. I think you could probably pick up at 3 and know what the hell's going on. You could.
So if you just wanted to play just to do like the bare minimum, meet the objective, and get the story, how long is like the campaign?
So there is
like playtime.
That's hard to say because I goof around and I've never gone a straight line through. I always double back, especially on the maps that I like love. It's impossible. There are like 7 or 8 maps total, or 7 or 8 campaign missions. Okay. Theoretically, depending on how good you are, 1 to 2 hours per mission. Okay. So 10 to 16 hours depending on how long you fiddle, you know, it depends on what you want to. Hitman's weird. Hitman's one of those games, it's like could be a 10-hour game. Could be a 100-hour game.
Right, of course.
You know? And it depends on how much you like it.
That's where I am. I mean, having played the tutorial, I mean, I can't make a judgment. I kind of like, it's like, it feels like a really fun, like 007 game.
That's what it is.
But I also want to like shoot people.
Yeah,
like
so that's
I have
hard.
this constant urge to like make some action happen.
You are very squishy in that game. Like it's challenging to go in. Like, that is not the kind of stealth game where you can get away with just like, I think I'm just going to shoot everybody. You get dead real fast, unfortunately.
Yeah. I just want like some more action set pieces to be happening.
I can understand that.
Like through the tutorial, I was like, this is kind of fun, but do I want to pay $60 to steal the costume and throw the wrench and, politely, quietly shoot the guy from behind the corner? It's like,
yeah,
I want to do more than that.
If that's not, if you really are leaning that way, then it's probably not going to be worth the cost of admission for you. There is one map in 3 that you can kind of get away with, like a sniper rifle and some funness, like depending on how you play it. But yeah, the
fun is all the sneaking around.
The fun is like the satisfaction of getting away with it. That's what I would say. Like when my daughter and I she was watching me play, like the satisfaction for us was like the slow walk into the sunset as something explodes behind you. And no one knows it was you. And you're just like, oh, I did that. And it's so good. Flick the cigarette type of walk-off move, you know?
Nice.
It just makes you feel like if James Bond wasn't an idiot.
Right.
You know? Yeah. And it's very satisfying when all the pieces come into place for me. It's also satisfying when it all goes wrong. And I threw a screwdriver at that dude in the face. I hit that lady with a muffin. Whoops.
Well, I haven't played the Dubai level yet, so I'll do that at least. And then probably, again, probably just wait for Game Pass.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that's like a bad way to go. I think if it's not 100% your thing, then it's not your thing. You know what I mean? But play Dubai. I see the nuance of how the AI acts and how you can manipulate it just to see how you feel about it.
Okay.
For the listeners who have not tried a Hitman game, look, it's free. Go download a level. Give it a shot.
Mm-hmm.
Do something stupid. Giggle. It's fun. That's the best.
What about you?
I'm still Wolfensteining because it is very, very satisfying. And I'm still kind of deeply in awe of how much a 2014 game holds up in the year of our Game Pass Lord 2021. It's still so good. It's still so good.
It is.
I'm still impressed by how good the sound is too, and how good, for the most part, especially in motion, the textures look and the decorations are. I love that game. We've talked about it to death. But I have no complaints about that video game. I installed Narita Boy. That is my project for as soon as I'm off on Friday. I'm gonna play video games. Probably in my jammy pants.
Your onesie?
Yeah, maybe. I should probably wash that.
Oh man, the listeners, Xbox Fan Fest is doing customized mugs and hoodies.
I'm gonna get a hoodie that says ET Dragon on the back. I've been wanting a hoodie with my stupid gamer tag on the back for a long time.
I got one.
I know you did. I'm over mine.
And I got a coffee mug that says Xbox Empire.
Ooh, How is the coffee mug at the regular 12-ounce size?
No idea.
The children's mug,
Don't
if you
care.
will. I do. Who drinks that much coffee? That's not a... Nah. Anybody who still drinks 12 ounces of coffee in the morning does not have children. I can't imagine a world. Yeah, you should check out the gear shop on the Xbox. This is not an ad. We do not make commission, unfortunately.
Nope.
For many of our
We should.
positions. We should.
We sold a lot of those TVs.
Yo, Xbox, please at me because we'll help you. Yeah, Rebecca in the chat is saying children's mug and laughing. Like, I would give my daughter that much coffee. That is not enough coffee for me to function or live. It's for an aunt. I think that's mostly it. It's just been Wolfenstein and then customizing a onesie or a sweatshirt that I'm going to buy. I wish I could customize the onesie.
That's the next level.
Yeah. Let me get a custom patch on the front of the onesie that says my gamer tag. All right, so we've got some news. There's not a ton of it, okay? Because it's April Fool's week and it's going to get real stupid. So
like $500 headphones?
Okay, so $500 headphones are not an April Fool's.
That's for real.
So we can discuss that. Like they are $500. They're Bluetooth. They're a Bluetooth noise. They're a Bluetooth headset. I own a $350 pair of headphones. I just want to be very clear. Like my stupid does not just stop in the video game sphere. They're Sony's and I love them. This is a premium brand. It's their first time dropping onto like a console space, actually. I don't know. Like, I don't have a problem with this. They're for a very particular type of person.
Oh, yeah. No,
You know?
I don't have a problem with them either. I mean, there are people that really care about pristine audio, and that's what this will be. I am just not one of those people. And there was no way I was paying $500 for headphones. So, like, I couldn't even tell you anything about them because that news came in one ear and right out the other. Just
they're dropping the black pair. I think are shipping now, and then there's a white and a navy blue. I'm interested in them, but I would not buy them. I have so many pairs of headphones in my house between like. I can't. I would actually probably end up divorced if those showed up, and my husband was like, "Why?" Because I'm literally thinking about putting command hooks on the wall to hang headphones. Well, this is the life that I now live.
Nice,
right? So we're gonna let those pass on by. If you really love premium sound, they do the Bluetooth to the phone sync with the wireless to the console. They mix the audio. If you want to go nuts, that's in that Apple.
You want to get nuts?
You want to get
Let's
crazy?
Get nuts.
Look, I like getting nuts, Donnie, but I can't $500 headphones.
Yeah,
nuts.
it's too much. It's way out of my league. I don't use my headphones enough for that.
I could buy 5 Razer Kishies for that much money.
I got my iPod Pros. I'm not even an Apple person, and like that's all the headphone I could ever want.
I have Sony's noise canceling over the ear ones because I bought them when I was still flying for work pretty frequently. And when you're on a flight to Alaska and you get stuck with a kid on the flight, like I don't have any problem with you having your kids on the flight, but you buy expensive headphones.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't like to fly. All right, don't judge. All right, let's talk about. Speaking of 500. Okay, so there's a cyberpunk patch. I feel like I need to rub my temples before going through this news. It's patch 1.2. I don't believe them. That number seems wrong. It was a 40 gigabyte patch. It's out now on Xbox. I think it hit consoles. I don't know. I don't care. It's out on Xbox. It's 40 gigs. There are over 500 changes listed in the changelog for this patch. Yeah,
this is just squashing bugs, fixing gameplay, making sure characters hold the items they have or have the clothes on, and cars don't float. They don't drop out of the sky. The sun doesn't melt everybody.
Changes to NPC behavior, stability improvements, so it doesn't crap the bed every 15 seconds. People are wearing pants now.
Until the next gen update, every patch note should just say stability update. Like
Nintendo always does every time they drop a patch.
Patch version 2.37, stability updates.
This is I flipped through the list of patch notes and I was just reading it, and my husband's behind me and he's like, "What are you is that for work?" And I'm like, "No, these are the patch notes for a video game."
Yeah.
These are the patch notes of only patch 1.2 for a video game. And he's like, "How broken did it launch?" And I'm like,
broken.
So broken. An embarrassing level of broken.
Yeah.
It just if you want an encyclopedic laugh track for your day, just bring up the patch notes and just scroll through them every couple minutes. Just ingest a couple.
And you actually had to scroll. It was a long read.
I'm not joking when the changes were like in the hundreds. Just it's not a bit, kids. I'm not that funny. But this led to them delivering essentially what they're calling a strategy update. Okay. I'm going to quote this first one, and then I'm going to say, I told you so, because this is what I do. Going forward, our campaigns will be much shorter. That's not the part that I told you so about. We'll wait until much closer to a game's launch before we start showing things like trailers, demos, or going in depth about mechanics, etc. Yes, please.
Do you believe them?
No, I
Neither
don't.
do I.
Because here's what's going to happen. Somebody's going to be like, we want to show your game at our showcase. And they're going to,
Yeah.
their ego is so big.
We're going to give you $20 million to make sure that you show up.
It's not even about money. Next time, it's going to be about fixing their broken egos from how terrible of a nightmare this is. Yeah, man.
Like, so Witcher 4?
I hope not, but yeah, probably, because that's the next big thing, right? Like,
well, I mean, that's just what you do, right? Like, when you screw up, let's go and make something that you really like great again.
And that's fine, but they're not good at. There's no way they will be able to resist the siren call of showing crap too early. No big dev can resist it. It's like it's like opening the fridge and seeing, like, you know, bologna at 2 a.m.
I honestly think it's too much money invested to go radio silent for just, you know, the only people that do it, there is somebody that does it. Rockstar.
Yeah, because they could do whatever they want.
They do. They totally just go 0 Dark 30. They're like, you know what?
Yeah.
We'll show you something when we want to. And they won't schedule it with pomp and circumstance.
They don't
care.
It
won't be on they'll just literally trailer will just be on YouTube one day.
Have a video game. It's out tomorrow.
It's out tomorrow.
They have big video game energy. Okay? They don't give a crap. They just whip it around everywhere. They don't care. They're Rockstar. And you know what? They earned that.
They true.
Did. They earned that, but that's what they have. They're the kind of people back when we were like in college or younger where the trailer would drop and people would frame by frame it to discern information. Okay?
They also have never done anything remotely
as
egregious as like this.
No, this is...
That's the other thing. They've earned it from that standpoint where they will literally just, it's not ready yet. So go bother somebody else.
And their brokenness often is charming. There's a line between like jank that's charming, like the horse roach up on the house in The Witcher 3, and jank that is the video game is broke, y'all, which is Cyberpunk 2077. I still haven't played this game because why?
I bet now it's probably decent.
Yeah, it might be a video game now. I might be able to play it.
It's still not what we wanted, but it's probably in decent enough shape.
They went on.
The folks that have beaten the game swear it's great.
I'm sure it is. It's just a matter of how much am I willing to fight the game at 38 years old with 2 kids and all this job stuff going on. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to fight you.
I'm looking forward to seeing it sometime later this year.
Someday. It feels so far. It feels so far away. They went on to quote, say, and when campaigns do start, we aim to properly manage expectations. Oh, really? Across all platforms. This means focusing on communication of polished game footage, not concepts. We'll also showcase footage of our games on all platforms they will be released on. They're saying this, and it's disingenuous because the next game that they launch, this won't be a problem. So it's like, come on, dude.
They're saying what they have to.
Yeah, they do.
That's all it is.
This is saving their ass.
And you know what? For all the gamers and podcasters that are going to take cheap shots at them, and they're totally open to it. If we were all in that corporate umbrella, we'd say it too.
No, I'm not saying they're saying the wrong thing. I know.
I know. I don't think you are. I think there'll be a lot of people that'll be like, that's not going to happen. They're going to do that. You know, they're going to prove the error of their ways. But it's like, if we were on the corporate team, we'd be saying the same thing because that's what you do. You circle the wagons. But
do you circle the wagons this many months after you release the disaster?
Yeah, you got to at some point. You can't just not let it.
It shouldn't have been this long. This should have happened sooner.
Well, you know, they're also facing all of that crunch stuff and the holidays and all that. See, that's the thing. They're damned if they don't. Like, if they did it earlier, then everybody would be like, I can't believe you're making them crunch over Christmas. You know, like.
No, you're right that they can't win, but what a tremendously, like, God, what a fall from grace. It's disappointing.
At this point, that's true. But as I was explaining, as I was trying to explain to Kevin, the damage is done. It's been done.
I agree.
So kudos to them for trying to repair it. But like whether it was this month or 6 months from now, like it's done. So it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Now it's about
salvage.
It's about a slow rebuild of trust is what it becomes about at this point. Because
but it's been done.
Oh, yes.
No Man's Sky has done it. For Honor's done it.
Here's the difference. No Man's Sky, they shut up and fixed the video game. They shut up and fixed that video game, and then yet another update is launching for that game that people are not going to have to pay for. That is still free, and they went radio silent.
You know, that's my pick for. Everybody's talking about like an exclusive game that would come to Switch Pro that only the Switch Pro could do. No Man's Sky is my pick.
I love that game, and I'm glad that they evolved it, and they really did take lessons learned. They actually took the feedback and the frustration of people, and they leveraged it into something real and like actionable and made a better video game from it. And I have a lot of respect for that. I'm curious to see if CD Projekt Red can do the same thing. And I do think they can. I do think they can. They're also no longer considering a standalone multiplayer Cyberpunk title. That's probably good. You don't have a single player one that works right now.
Right.
I realize that that's sarcastic, but look, it's also true. And I added this note. Along with all of this, they tweeted or released that The Witcher 3's next-gen patch, PS5, Series X, is due the second half of 2021 now.
Alongside the Cyberpunk thing.
Right. So they're both going to launch at the same time. And they talked in this thing about how they're now going to branch development, work on more than one project at once, fill out teams. There was a lot of discussion of that. So this is them, look, we're doing it.
Yep.
But it makes sense, so I don't know. I want to play this game.
Yeah, I do
Cyberpunk.
Too. I mean, I own it. I bought 2 copies of the game. You'd think I'd be more... I'm a little upset that I couldn't get a refund for the PC copy.
Sure.
You'd think I'd be more, upset about it. But, like, as this game I just reached a point where it wasn't worth... It's like, you know what? Let me know when it's done.
Yeah, I don't
want to
fight.
I think a lot of people just hit that point. It's just like, what's the point? What's the point of me yelling and screaming or jumping on like this dead horse has been beaten over and over and over again.
So dead. We're dragging behind a train.
Yeah, so it's like at this point, like this was all before the consoles came out, and then the consoles came out, and then like now, like 6 months later, it's like I got a whole different stuff to worry about. Let me know when your game is done so I can play it on one of the platforms that I bought it for.
Yeah, I am one of those people who enjoys a good broken game. Or a good like game that everybody hates. Like I like it. I like that sometimes. But this was too far even for me, and that's saying like a lot. Like and I love a bad video game. I love a stupid movie. I love broken crap. If it's so broken that I'm just like, I can't. If you're releasing a patch with 500 bug changes, I'm like, let me know when the next gen patch is out and I'll play.
If anything, instead of looking for like a pound of flesh, I'm just more upset or like not upset, like let down with just how bad it was released.
Disappointed. I'm deeply disappointed.
This game wasn't ready for another year. You weren't even close.
Nope.
You weren't even close. It's like, I feel like they tried to rush out the last gen version before they moved to next gen.
Yes.
It's like, we've got to do this before like the consoles. This game wasn't even close to being ready. You're talking 6 months after launch. You're just now patching a playable version of the game that you have. Yeah. And it's not even the next gen version that everybody actually wants.
That's the worst part. I think they almost would have been better served, maybe not from a money point of view, but from a save face point of view, in putting out the Witcher 3's next gen patch first, finishing this game better, and then putting it out later. No, it would have cost them a lot of money, but it might have made them look better in the long run to be
so I agree with you, but it was funny. Kevin was going pretty hard about this, and he was saying the opposite. He's like, I can't believe they're just going to go work on The Witcher now and everybody's going to forgive them. And I was like,
they're going to parallel. This is how development works.
Well, even outside of that, that actually makes some sense. That's how everybody does. Yeah. Look at Andromeda and Anthem. And what's BioWare doing now? Hey guys, we're going to remaster the thing.
We're fixing the thing you really like.
Right. Like that's the smart move, actually.
That's the game.
That's if I was working with them, that would be my recommendation. It's like, hey, you know that game that everybody loves, The Witcher? Let's go do something with that real quick.
Like when they looked
let's get some people, let's make them a little happy.
If they could have, if in the spot they launched Cyberpunk, they could have launched The Witcher's next gen patch at console launch, and then held this, that would have looked better. Like it just would have been a better look. Now I realize there's money involved here, and we're not looking at money. We're looking at perception. And money.
That's a good point here with Justin.
Yeah.
Where they've been better off canceling the old gen versions of the game, focus on next gen.
Yes.
I would say no.
You don't think so?
Well, here's the problem. Like, they sold a bajillion copies of the
game. That's where money becomes a conversation. Money notwithstanding, yes, that would have been the correct
But you
choice.
have to think the reason that they were pushed so hard to put it out is that they had to.
But why was the PC version so broken then?
Right, but they had to. Like, they had to get it out. Like, I have to think there was some, like, Zero Horizon where they needed an influx of money. They've been working this game for a decade. They're like, we need some sort of return on investment.
The calculation came down to how many pre-orders have we sold. We need that cash right now. That's the game. And it sucks, but that's the game.
And if they canceled it, then you're talking about 80% of the copies they sold?
I'd say 60, because the PC version probably, maybe 70, but the PC version probably did well. There are PC games
still a lot, though.
First.
It's a big chunk of copies sold.
This all loops back to showing this game too early and setting poor expectations. Unfair expectations.
Well, yeah.
They
for
would
all
never
involved.
have been in this
Not
situation.
just for the customers, but for the actual development teams, the employees that were making it.
This all loops back to that point. If that hadn't happened, then we wouldn't. Then you could have scrapped those old gen consoles versions.
We saw the transcripts of the conference calls that came out and everything. Like, the employees told them it's not ready, it's not done.
It's not going to happen.
But that's
money.
So that's the thing. When we're on Twitter and in Discord just being angry about it, like, we lack the context to. There is a business sense to, like,
it's
maybe they didn't have the option.
It's the biggest sense. We lose sight of that because we want what we want the way we want it.
Yeah,
and we don't understand why it has to be any other way.
And the bar has been set very high from some folks that release, CD Projekt included.
Yeah, yes. But we often forget that this is about money, and money pays for people's jobs. Mm-hmm. And it's easy to forget that because we're the consumer, and who cares how you do it. But
I'm not giving them a pass.
No, there's no pass. This is just the reality of business, and business sucks.
Just bringing context to the conversation.
Yeah. So look, this might be the point at which I install the game. This might be the point at which enough crap is fixed that I am willing to dip a toe and then see how it... Because I love to get in a game and see how it evolves, especially games like this. But it was so broken that I wasn't willing to get in on day one. Yeah. This might be my start and go forward.
It was pretty playable once they fixed my save issue on PC. It was playable. I just didn't want to play it I didn't want to play it there, and I didn't want to play it that way. Right. I want the game in 4K with all the facial details and all the textures. Like, I want to see it the way that it was presented to me. Like, even now, like, I'm not sure if you saw the screenshots after the patch notes, like, people still showing people that look like mannequins and stuff. It's like, it's still not there.
No, it's not
what they promised.
I don't know that it will ever be what they promised.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm starting to be concerned. Like, maybe the version of the game that I want just will never be.
I don't think it will ever exist. I think what they promised was the problem.
Yeah.
And they could never get there. And they promised something that they were never going to reasonably reach.
Well, I got burned then. Let's
see if they learn their lesson. That's the point. Let's see if they actually, like, take these actionable items going forward to their next game and learn their lesson.
Let's see if gamers learn their lesson too.
Yeah, stop pre-ordering video games.
So I give myself a pass because I bought the console. So on Xbox, I didn't pay anything for that copy. It was included.
Right.
So I only paid out of pocket for the PC version. And if I wanted to play it there, it looked very playable.
Yeah.
It just wasn't the version of the game that I wanted to play.
I think there will be a lot more...
I wanted to be better than that.
I think there will be a lot more trepidation going into their next product. And I think that's correct. I think people should be questioning... I think people should be like, I'm going to wait till it's out. I'm going to see next time. So I think they will see a significant decrease in their pre-orders.
Were people that way with BioWare? Or do we think that it's not close to the same thing?
I don't think that's close to the same thing. You're talking about dumping Andromeda kind of as a crappy game and then re-releasing Mass Effect Legacy, which is the thing
I was thinking, like,
really
how do you go from Andromeda to Anthem?
I don't think that's the same because I don't think that that's the same audience. I think that the people
I agree with you there.
Love Mass Effect were not all on board to go to Anthem. I think that, yes, there's a percentage who were like, no, because this last video game was bad.
From the macro level, it's like Andromeda was kind of a mess. But we were all excited for Anthem. There was a lot of us.
Iron Man
sold a lot of copies for that game.
I had fun with Anthem for the 20 minutes.
Here's the end of the deal. We can be mad about them all we want, but the moment they show us something really cool and shiny that we want to play, We'll be back in.
We're fickle humans. Gamers
we'll
are just fickle people. Yeah. Absolutely. But we might not be back in. We might be back in at the, I'm going to wait to see how that plays before
Game
I
Pass.
buy it. Yeah, put it on Game Pass. Problem solved. We've solved all your problems. All right. Look, Donnie, you need to tell me about this next one because I saw this tweet and the first person I thought about was you.
Thank you so much. EA has announced that they will be making a next-gen golf game called EA Sports PGA Tour. Now, we talked about this when Tiger Woods announced that he was signing with 2K.
2K,
I brought this up, that Jeff Grubb had said, he had told me that EA was making a golf game. That until that moment when Tiger signed for 2K, I was certain was Tiger Woods Golf made by EA. Right. I was positive. Right. I was like, all right, so we got PGA 2K and we've got Tiger Woods over here. But now Tiger Woods is with 2K. So what in the hell is this EA Sports golf game going to be? I got to tell you.
What do you think?
I don't like the title. EA Sports PGA Tour.
Is that the title?
That's the title. It's not a project name. That's the name of the game.
I hate it. I hate the name. When is this due? Do they say when we're going to get this? Is this a this year video game?
No, they didn't announce a date or anything. Here's what they said. It will be built on Frostbite.
Interesting.
So take that for what you think.
So in the next year to 2 years, do you think? 2022?
Yeah, 2 years.
Okay.
I think next year. It will include many of the world's most famous courses and will let you play against and as, quote, some of the biggest names in professional golf.
Not all, some.
But they didn't say which, they didn't say who, they didn't say what courses, and they didn't say when. Now, I brought this up in my review for 2K. Golf is in a very interesting place right now. Mm-hmm. Because in the olden days, when you licensed with the PGA Tour, you got the PGA Tour and everything that was included with some exceptions. I think the first time that I heard about EA licensing outside of the PGA Tour, I think they licensed Pebble Beach with Pebble Beach Golf Club.
Yeah,
and I know they licensed directly with the Masters for Augusta National. That's why we've only had Augusta National in one game. That's why it got all of the attention and focus, because they paid bank for that.
That's a money move. Those are big money moves.
Don't expect that Augusta National will be included in this game. I do expect that Pebble Beach will. So here's what it looks like we will have. Brass tacks, what do you need to know? We're going to have dueling golf games that have separate rosters and separate courses that aren't available in each other ones. And I do know that the PGA golf game, or at least up to now, maybe EA is doing some money that we're not aware of. I think to now, the PGA's focus on players is that you have to individually license with them individually.
That's gross. I mean,
which means
sucks.
that the roster is going to be like 8 people.
So do you have any hope that this will be a good golf game?
No.
Oh, that was a long pause. You really thought about that.
I want to say yes, but after Rory McIlroy, I mean, how could you? So Frostbite. Frostbite's just like a swing and a miss for so many games at this point.
I agree.
It's like, why are you doing that? But maybe Frostbite, they can do it. Frostbite has made games look good. So I don't want to just kill it. It can be good. I thought they were done with it. Like, I thought they made the announcement and everything. Like, we're not, was it just Respawn?
I think maybe, I know that there's a bunch of people who have said we just don't want to make things work in Frostbite anymore.
Yeah.
But I remember the conversation happening around that, but I don't think the engine got killed. I think the engine's just being used for very specific things.
Respawn got off of Frostbite for Jedi.
Correct.
I'm almost certain of that, right?
I don't think it fit with what they wanted to do. I think it works really well for shooters and for certain types of
My lasting memory
games.
of Frostbite is it sucks for faces.
Yeah, it does.
Which sucks for a golf game where you need to see people's faces.
Well, what is it going to matter? What's it going to matter
against them?
But you don't care because there's only 8 faces you are going to be interested in.
And here's the problem, as I expect, outside of Tiger Woods. So Delvin asked me, he goes, so I'm probably just going to go wherever Tiger is. And I was like, I think 98% of consumers will do the same thing. Because here's the thing in golf. Golf has stars. There are incredible stars on the golf tour. Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka, Bryson DeChambeau. Like, these are great golfers, like Hall of Fame worthy golfers that are in the prime right now. Guess what? I just said 3 names most people have never heard of.
I don't know who any of those people are.
Nobody cares.
I know who Tiger Woods is.
Because you know why? Because they're same old standard polo white dude golfer, like every other golfer that's ever existed. There's no juice to them. Right. When it comes to golf, I want to say there are two names that draw money: Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson.
I would agree with that.
Those are names that draw money. And like, sure, there are other ones. Rory, he doesn't draw. Nobody's going to see Rory.
I don't care.
Sergio, like, there's names.
I don't know who that guy is.
There are names, but nobody cares. It's Phil Mickelson and it's Tiger Woods. Phil Mickelson has never been licensed in a video game.
Because he's smarter than everybody else.
So I don't think that he's going to be in here, but maybe he is. Maybe they're going to do one. Phil Mickelson's PGA
Maybe
Tour.
He's the competing golf guy. Then I have to buy both because those are the only two names in golf I know.
But then it sucks that you can't play with both of them in the same game. All right.
Look, I don't make the rules.
Also, the golf club or PGA Tour 2K has a course editor.
It's good too, by what I've told.
The course editor, the editor or just the game?
The editor and the game.
Editor is fantastic. So what that means is when you log on, there are millions of courses that you can play.
Someone's going to make Pebble Beach, y'all.
Somebody's already made Augusta National. I've already played it. Like, it's there.
I'm not worried about that.
If EA doesn't do that, and they never did, so I don't have like any faith that they will, but if they don't, like, that's going to significantly hinder their appeal.
Also, when's the last time they made a golf game?
Rory.
What year was that?
2014.
Okay, so like they've been out of the game for a minute, and this PGA Tour, aka Golf Club, they've been in it, and they've been evolving their game well over the last few years.
Yeah, they're on like the fifth iteration of their game that they
have a good golf game
working on, and now they're about to add Tiger to it. Tiger's a big freaking deal.
That's just, I want to play that game, one, because that's the game that's good right now, and everybody says it's good and it's fun. Game. And two, I know who Tiger Woods is. I know who I am, okay? I don't know anything about golf except I'm bad at it and I like to play it on video games. I love video game golf. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
Super Nintendo Dad says, do you think it ending up in Game Pass through EA would help it in the long run? No.
No, I don't think that has... Golf is such a niche in the sports world for video games, right? Come on.
Yes, I mean, every sport is a niche outside of FIFA, right? But here's what I will say. Golf games, historically, have sold well. I had brought this up during the PGA 2K release when they came out. Most golf games, like those Tiger Woods games of yore that people remember, Tiger 11, Tiger 10, Tiger 9. Yeah, they were good. They sold like 4 or 5 million copies a piece.
Holy crap.
Like, it used to be kind of a...
Who is buying?
So that's the thing. Golf's a global sport.
True.
It is a big deal. But it also had Tiger. And Tiger was a big deal.
That's the big deal.
See, that's the thing is people... So I want to be clear. I'm not a huge Tiger fan. I have brought up many instances where some of his mannerisms or actions have bothered me.
But he's not...
But...
Yeah, we could have that conversation, but he's still a huge
biggest deal in golf.
Yeah,
he has been for 30 years. He will continue to be so. Even compared to Phil Mickelson, it's like 4 times Phil Mickelson. Phil Mickelson's 40 times anybody else.
That's the thing. The signing of Tiger almost... Like, did that happen under EA's nose and they're already starting to make this golf game? And they're like, oh crap, we already put money into this?
Stunned when EA, when they did the Tiger thing. I was like,
that's wild.
How is this possible? Now, here's the thing that I want to give EA some hope. If they make a different game, if it's like something really cool that we're not expecting.
Like an arcade golf game?
If it has something like that in it, like maybe they have something EA-ish about it that catches on, or maybe they pull a gimmick. Like one year they did the Ryder Cup, and the Ryder Cup makes for a really great golf game, like for a video game. Like maybe they do something like that. Or one of the things they did in the past is they had like the historical stuff, like they were doing in Madden. So
that
like
stuff's cool.
Jack Nicklaus or Bobby Jones. Like if they go to that well,
but they gotta license all those people, and are they going to be able to? So the thing did not read like that was the plan. No. But we'll see, I guess.
It's going to be Jordan Spieth's EA PGA Tour.
Just make it Space Jam, but golf.
There you go.
My rate is $200 an hour. Send me a freaking invoice.
You remember when they showed Rory McIlroy? People may not remember this, but when they showed it, Rory McIlroy E3, they actually showed it like on a Battlefield 5 map golf course. They were like battle cruisers, like having war and stuff, like while you were playing golf.
Look, just
I was kind of here for that.
Space Jam. Let's get stupid.
My first thought when PJ was like, we're also making a golf game, I was like, all right, it's got to be, all right, for this to be good, because I don't think the space right now is big enough for 2 golf games.
Yes,
one of them's going to tank. For this to be good, it's got to be really, really pretty, and it's got to do something, something different, something new. There's got to be some hook that we don't know.
I just don't know that you can go up against Tiger's juggernaut and win.
Not at 60. Now I'm wondering, that's the other part of me. I'm wondering, do they go, what they've done this in the past? Do they go $29.99 or something like that?
$40.
Do they become the bargain for the
golf game? Oh boy,
what
a fall from grace. Speaking of falls from grace,
but
they
here's
used to have the golf game.
If they go toe to toe with Tiger and they tank, then you're all of a sudden you're letting go of a market. And that's I think the bigger concern here is it's like NBA Live. Well, like Live got so far out that they couldn't even compete with 2K.
They let this market go.
Yeah.
They've let this market go for 7 years now. So why get back in?
EA should have bought HB Studios. Like there was a big miss by them not acquiring what 2K saw a niche, and they were like, yeah, we're just going to carve it out for ourselves. 2K
got shoved out of other things, and they grabbed onto basketball, and they grabbed onto, they grabbed onto the golf. And I honestly don't understand why EA would put resources into trying to compete when they don't even have Tiger. But, I mean, I'm curious to see what they do just because I want to see what they do.
Tiger's going to wipe the floor with them.
They're going to get crushed, and it's going to be not pretty.
Like, if they had Phil Mickelson and, like, a handful of other people, then maybe? I would give it a puncher's chance. But, nah.
They're going to get obliterated, and they're never going to make another golf game in this town again.
Yeah.
Or maybe they just decide to cancel it before it even happens.
When Tiger just shows up, like even if he's not even playing well, when he's just there, ratings for golf tournaments, they quadruple. Of course they do. They quadruple.
He's interesting.
He is the casual golf market.
Yeah,
the casual golf market is not interested in golf. They're interested in Tiger Woods.
They're interested in Tiger's drama.
Yeah.
I'm interested in Tiger's drama. I could give a crap about golf. Tell me who won.
And I don't know who the next star would be. It might be his
Tiger's kid.
He has a cousin or a son. Have you seen his son?
Yeah.
Did you see the tournament where they played together?
Yeah.
Because his son lit up Twitter for 3 days.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to be his kid.
It might be.
So if you license Tiger, then just pass that license right on over. It's going to be his kid.
Yeah,
it's a legacy.
It'd be cool to see that. I don't know. I'm very excited. So we're getting Mario Golf. Then we're getting Tiger Woods PGA Tour 2K.
It'll be the year of golf next year.
Yeah.
You've been training your whole life for this.
I'm so ready.
Dude, you're going to hurt yourself.
That was the fun part is when they announced the Tiger to 2K, I was like, Tiger. Why aren't you joining Mario Golf? Like, could you imagine cartoon character Tiger with Mario and friends? Oh my God.
All right, okay. My eyebrows just danced right off the top of my head because I was like, yeah, all right, let's do that.
They made a cartoon Tiger Woods game on PC and maybe 64, I think, back in the 90s. It was one of the first Tiger Woods games. It was called Cyber Tiger.
I don't like that. Not given his history, I don't like that at all. Oh, I'm going to need to take a third shower after that. Yeah, I don't like that. Never again.
I think a little Hot Shots character of Tiger Woods with Mario and friends would be friggin' awesome.
I can't get past Cyber Tiger.
Cyber Tiger. Upset. I think that's what it was called. I'm 98% certain.
I really don't like it. Don't Google it.
Cyber Tiger.
Oh, it's so gross. I hate it every time you say it.
This is why you come to my shows to learn about golf games. How many other great journos and pundits are giving you Cyber Tiger throwbacks?
All I have are bad jokes, kids. You come here for my bad jokes because you're like, no one cares about golf, Donnie. We love you, but
yeah, that's more true than it's not.
All right, we're going to move on to the last story. The last story is a Game Pass story, because why wouldn't it be? It's the Game Pass podcast. Mm-hmm. Ultimate subscribers, Game Pass Ultimate subscribers, can now access backwards compatible titles via the cloud. So there's 16 original Xbox and 360 games available now.
Meanwhile, PlayStation,
stop it, Donnie,
shutting down their legacy
content
source.
Why you do this to me? Why can't you just let me have my moment?
Did you see how fast Haley jumped into the Xbox room to try and bring us fake Halo delayed news?
Yeah, Halo.
She was on that white on race. Her entire day was waiting.
They've had a week. Let them have their moment. They got Kotaku good with that April Fool's joke too. I hate April Fool's Day.
Yeah.
All right, so check it out. Here's your 16 titles that are available now. They're available now on phones and tablets. There are more games coming soon, they said in this release. I'll read you a quote. We've listened to the feedback going all the way back to our earliest cloud gaming preview, and making games from previous generations available on mobile devices has been one of the most requested features by the community. That's interesting. But it makes sense. They fit better for something like this. So we got Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie. Those are good games. Double Dragon Neon, Fable 2, Fallout New Vegas, Gears of War 2, Gears of War 3, Gears of War Judgment. You could have left Judgment out. I would have been okay with that one. Jetpack Refueled has touch controls enabled, which is interesting. Cameo, a game I love, a game I have fondness for. Perfect Dark Zero, Morrowind, Oblivion, because I don't have enough ways to make bad choices about these video games. Viva Pinata and Viva Pinata Trouble in Paradise, both with touch controls enabled. Excuse me, hello, I'm going to get a Kishi and I'm going to play Viva Pinata from my bed.
Nice.
Don't at me. They are the best games.
It's basically Rare Replay with Gears and Fable.
Yep, which is, that makes sense. It fits.
Yeah, of course.
And they're available right now. If you're listening to this, you can do this if you're an Ultimate subscriber. I think this is cool, and I'm excited that they're doing this.
Of course it's cool.
It's cool.
It doesn't cost us anybody anything to do it, and you can play from your phone. Like, that's cool. It's cool.
I keep getting more
do
cool.
Now.
I don't know. They promised more games. Are there any games that you would really, really want in this capacity from what's backwards compatible?
That's already? A great question. That was actually what I was going to ask you, because I was thinking.
I got you first.
Well, here's the thing. There's nothing that could come to phone. It's like, I can't wait to play it on my phone, because I just don't play on my phone. To me, the phone with the Kishi and all that, it is strictly just a convenience play.
That's true.
When the opportunity strikes, I might, if I want to, flip out and try to play something on my phone. But I'm not going to actively go do it.
What's the game that you would be most likely you would want under that capacity? Like, I would maybe want something like Geometry Wars.
Geometry Wars is a great one.
Yeah.
I always think of like sports games, something I can hop
sense.
into for a game, play for 15, 20 minutes, get out. Like, I've been playing on my Chromebook. I got a new Chromebook. I've been playing the Retro Bowl like all week. If you've never played it, fantastic sports game. So something like that. Like, I'm not going to get into a Gears of War campaign on mobile.
I don't want to play
sit down and get lost into Fable.
Exactly. I don't want to play those games. That's why I actually think Viva Pinata is kind of a nice fit, because it's kind of chill. It's like and that's the kind of game I want.
Perfect Dark,
this.
maybe.
Maybe I would play Cameo like this.
Geometry Wars is a good.
Geometry Wars is one of those games that I will always want to pick.
They should buy that franchise.
What happened to that franchise?
They made Geometry Wars Evolved
3,
which I didn't like.
No.
And because it was basically like a weird, like Neo Assault or like Resogun wannabe. It wasn't even Geometry Wars.
No, the original is still the best game. Still the best one.
Retro Evolved.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one we want. So I would rather play something like that, but I will say, because this is what this is really for. This is for the person who doesn't have a console or access to a console.
Correct.
So like on my Chromebook, if you wanted to open up a Chromebook or your browser, click into Fable and actually sit there for 5 hours and play Fable, you can. And that's cool. You should. Play Fable, everybody. Everybody, play Fable.
Yeah, no, Fable is great. You know what would be good for this? Like RPGs. Games that don't require, like Blue Dragon is a really good example of a 360 RPG that a lot of people have not probably
Cross
have
save
not
through the cloud.
Exactly. And it's like, those are good because they're turn-based.
Like if you were playing Dragon Quest.
Yeah.
You play Dragon Quest at home, maybe hit a little bit on your lunch break, come back home. Yeah, you could do that. That works.
There was Lost Odyssey and Blue Dragon, which were 360 RPGs that came out very close to the same time, and they were both turn-based, and they would fit super nicely under this because turn-based RPGs are great for this.
Yeah, anything turn-based would really go well.
It would work well. You wouldn't be fighting it, you know?
I can't wait for this. I want to see the browser. I have this. So my issue with I should have brought this up at the top of the show. I hope people are still listening. So when I talk about the app stability, I think it's an Android thing. I don't think it's a Game Pass thing.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Because like on my Chromebook, it's a little more janky than it is on my phone. On my phone, it's pretty smooth. On my Chromebook, it's kind of a mess. So I'm really excited for browser support to come. So when browser support comes to Game Pass in the cloud, is I can run it on Chrome, or if Chrome gives me issues, I just sideload Bing and throw it in there and play it on Edge. So I'm very excited for when it comes to cloud. And I think when it comes to browser, when the cloud stuff comes to browser, I think I'll play it more, actually. I think that'll... Because right now I have my army of Chromebooks. Like I know Jack is very excited for the browser because there are times where Jack's Xbox is in the living room. There are times where Jack either doesn't want to be in the living room and play games with everybody, or everybody else is in the living room and don't want Jack in there playing games.
I feel this.
So if Jack can just stream on his Chromebook in his room, he's more likely to play it.
Sometimes I just want to lay in bed, burritoed in blankets. Like, this is where my Switch really is one of those things that becomes that console for me.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I would get a Kishi and just throw it on my phone because it's there anyway.
But it needs to be dependable. And I'm hoping.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm hoping the browser brings that consistency to it that I don't think it has on Chrome OS is a specific version of the app for that's different than your phones and iPad and all that.
Right.
So I throw more stones at it than anything else.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't disagree with you. I'm curious to check out the browser stuff when it drops. Yeah. I really am. I just want to see. Why not?
I think it's going to be this month.
This was just brought up in chat by Hopple. Browser will be a great step forward. Then I can play Slay the Spire everywhere. Games like Slay the Spire, deck building.
I've still never played it.
It's not for you, but I love Slay. I don't think it's for you. I love Slay the Spire.
We have a few Shack folks that have been trying to get me to play Slay the Spire for like a year.
It's very good, but those kinds of games, those like deck building games, they fit so nicely for mobile and for this because they're not a big push. They're not twitchy.
I thought Minecraft Dungeons fit for this too. I played. That's probably the most I've ever played cloud. Playing Minecraft Dungeons cloud with touch controls worked.
Yeah.
So.
I think it's cool that they're still putting resources into moving the backwards compatibility stuff into there too. They basically are saying to you as a consumer, pay for the service, get everything you want to play.
Yeah.
That we have. You want it, we'll give it to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's cool. One thing that they'll have that the EA golf game will have. You can play from the cloud.
You can play without Tiger Woods.
Without Tiger Woods.
For the 1 year they make this video game. What's the over and under on this thing getting canceled? When they realize
I think
how
they're
much
going to
of
make
an
it.
S show. You really
because
do?
I think they've been making it, and that's how. So, like I told you, I knew about the EA golf game like this summer. I've known that EA was making a golf game for a while. So they've been making it. So I don't think they're going to cancel it.
Do you think they knew when they started making it that they didn't have a shot at Tiger, or do you think they made it under the assumption they'd be able to get him?
Yeah.
Okay, because that was really wild to me.
I don't have the inside knowledges, but like that could be I don't think they would have ever greenlit another golf game.
That's my thought.
It wasn't until Tiger. I actually had this conversation. It wasn't until Tiger won the Masters. When Tiger won the Masters, and he kind of had his redemptive arc for the people that wanted to give him that. That changed Tiger for so many companies. All of his sponsors started to come back. He got Buick back. Everybody came back. He switched equipment brands. Mm-hmm. So like, I was like, oh, well, here comes EA going to go hitch their
do you think that's what they did? Do you think that's when they greenlit the thing and then they didn't get Tiger?
I think they're like, let's get a golf game pre-pro. Let's start working on it.
I kind of can't wait to watch the train wreck.
And then 2K is like, hey, Tiger.
2K is like, we've been making golf games for 5 years. They're very good. Sign with us. Wild. It's wild. 2K bought the golf club folks. Correct?
Yeah, HB Studios. They bought the whole studio.
Not even their video game. They bought it, and now they got Tiger. Yeah. And they're about to hit EA with an anvil.
And if you're HB Studios, that's why you sell.
Absolutely.
They're like, hey, you like our game so much you want to rename it? Yes, please.
They're probably pumped. They get to work
with Tiger Woods.
They got Tiger. That's the golf dream, right?
I don't know if Tiger will be working with anybody anytime soon.
No, that's true. That's another problem.
They're just going to simulate it.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, he's not going to be in there recording stuff for them.
No, he doesn't care.
He's in the hospital.
Here's a scan of my face. Good luck.
Yeah, like he just went home. So they'll just simulate that. And actually, I brought this up during my review for 2K live on stream. One of the golfers they license in the game is Jim Furyk. Mm-hmm. And Jim Furyk has a very distinct, weird, wonky swing that he's known for. And in their game, he just swings like everybody else.
Yeah, because we're not going to pay for you to mocap that. We don't do that.
They're not going to mocap Tiger at all. It's just going to be Tiger's face.
And then they don't need to. His swing is pretty classic.
Just having him on the cover would be big. That's plenty.
This is wild. Golf is wild. Who thought we'd spend this much time talking about golf? I didn't.
And here's the thing. For everything that we just talked about, I'm still just going to play Mario Golf instead.
I mean, same, but because I don't know anything about real golf.
Well, even if there isn't, it's just, I'm telling you, there's nothing that 2K or EA can do that's going to be better than Mario Golf. I'm
really excited.
So good.
I'm genuinely pumped. Now bring back Mario
I'm pissed we're not getting a collector's edition Mario Golf game.
Oh my God, Donnie.
You're talking
Donnie
about my next
custom Switch.
Custom Switch.
Look, okay, hear me out. I want Mario Strikers to come back. The golf, the soccer one. I loved the crap out of the GameCube.
Yeah, Strikers is awesome.
So if you're gonna do golf, then give me.
I like Strikers.
Soccer.
Sluggers is a really good, fun baseball game. Fun. Yeah, I'm all for it.
Just give us all the sports.
Okay, here's what sucks though. They do that with Sports Mix, and Sports Mix sucks.
It sucks. I don't want to play that.
Nobody wants the watered down versions. They want the full-fledged version of each sport.
So do that. They'll sell so many.
Camelot, I need you to hire 2 more studios. We're going to Call of Duty this bitch. All right?
Just yearly
You got
sports.
Sluggers. You got Strikers. You got golf.
Well, just rotate.
Let's crank them out.
I just bring back Strikers because we haven't had a Strikers game in a really long time. There were only 2. There was the GameCube and then the Wii one, which was only okay.
I like both.
I liked both, but the GameCube one was special to me. It was very well balanced.
Yeah,
I had a fun
GameCube
time
was
with
definitely more arcadey, more of a blitz button mashery type.
Oh, it was so fun.
I liked both. But yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do Empire come June Mario Golf. Like, you'd be like, hey, Don, do you play anything?
I'm just going to take over the show and I'll be playing video games in June because my kids will be
I'll be playing Mario Golf while we record the show.
Eli, why is Donnie muted? Don't worry. He's not listening to me anyway. This is my show now. I'm the captain now.
I'm so
All
excited.
right. Let's hit a couple of questions. We got a little extra time this week to hit a few, and there were some good ones. Actually I want to pull up one by Ryan because I thought this was interesting. What would you think about Microsoft adding an Audible-like service for the Xbox, where for whatever amount of money, $5 to $10 a month, you would earn 1 indie credit, which allows you to purchase 1 indie title. Do you know what this evoked in me? Do you remember when they did Summer of Arcade back on the 360? So if you bought all the Summer of Arcade games, you got like one of them for free or something like that, right? A credit.
PlayStation's done that a few times too.
And PlayStation's done it too. What I would rather than this is that to come back. It was a good incentive to pick up a game that you might never have played. And they could do it different. They could do some games that you had to buy and some games that if you earned the right Game Pass rewards, it would check the box, if they put the indies on Game Pass. But I just, I don't know. I like this idea. I just don't think it makes any sense because basically what I'm doing by paying $5 or $10 a month, I'm paying for Game Pass and getting all the indie credits. Yeah. Right? Isn't that what we're getting?
That was the thing. It's a good... So I've actually brought this up a few times, basically since the Game Pass Gnome was inaugurated. I've been saying that Nintendo needs an Indies Pass.
I agree with
Game
this.
Pass, but just for indie games.
Or there's Summer of Arcade or something. They do need something. Yes.
Just a curated little library of indie games, right? I don't think it makes nearly as much sense for Xbox because, one, they're just pushing Game Pass, and like this is giving you an option to not Game Pass because some of these indie games, like Narita Boy, is a reason to get Game Pass. Like it's a reason to jump on, right? All those indie games that we talked about last week. So that was one, and then also like it's messy.
What is an indie? What qualifies? Yeah, it's too messy.
Like what's the list? But also like a credit that you then turn on a voucher. But like, do you get any of them? Do you get all of them? Is it a selected list of them? It's like it's so different. And even just at face value with Audible, I've subscribed to Audible a few times off and on.
I use Audible now.
Even Audible, I think it's still kind of messy. It's just it's like a weird thing to have a subscription in addition to your subscription.
Yeah, well, I mean, yes, sure.
And it's like that's
agree.
not where Xbox needs to go. If you've listened to me on the show for a very long time,
let's
kill
subscriptions.
everything and just make it Game Pass.
Yeah,
that's better.
I think this could be evolved into something like leveraging the rewards program that they have, though. Like we're highlighting these 10 indie games this month. So if you play these games, you earn extra reward points for this month, and if you play all of them and check all the boxes, you get 50 extra points or 100.
I think it'd be really cool to do special sales on stuff like that. Like maybe like you buy one get one free, buy two get one.
Sure.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Or just any way for them to like they're dumping a lot of small games and a lot of indies into the service. And what you really want to do with those creators is like show them you care enough about their game to lift it up and give it to people, like push it in front of people. So if you boost their game via the rewards thing you've already got in, you lose nothing. You give people a couple extra points and they download a game they may never have tried just to meet the reward for the month. Yeah. And then maybe someone loves it and that dev gets more face time.
I love the idea, like, as a game is leaving Game Pass.
That's great too.
Hey, if you buy this game, you get double rewards points. That's fantastic.
And it's already 20% off.
Right.
Like
in addition to the 20%.
But if you play it like as a
Because
highlight.
the rewards points are fake money. Like,
it doesn't matter. It
doesn't matter.
To Microsoft, that doesn't matter, but you can use it for the people who do like pay attention to all the quests, just to get them to try something
little
new.
incentive.
Yeah. And I think the indie devs will feel warm and fuzzy about that too. Like, oh, they're not just paying us to put the game on Game Pass, they're also helping us get it in front of people. It's a good look.
Yeah.
That's my two cents. All right, what you got, Donnie? Give me one.
Jamie writes, I know Donnie doesn't care about games with gold anymore.
He's never cared
seriously, these games have been pretty bad for quite some time.
Big trash.
Besides killing it for Game Pass, what should Xbox do to keep gold on par with PlayStation Plus?
Kill it for Game Pass. I don't know that there's any other answer. Games with gold is like, they're just scraping the barrel here.
I've seen one idea that I really like, and I think this is a better idea than raising the price of gold so high that people don't use anymore.
So bad.
Going the opposite way. Take the free games out of it and make games with gold or whatever, the Xbox Network Pass, whatever, make it really cheap.
I agree. That's a good idea. That's a better idea. And then if you really need to roll the games with gold somewhere,
make
just
it
put
$30 a year
for
your online network connection, and you get no games.
That's
or you can subscribe to Game Pass.
I was just going to say, put these games with gold into Game Pass. Solve the freaking problem.
Yeah.
I've been on this. Roll those into that. Give people the cheap thing if they just want to play Call of Duty with their friends.
Yep, exactly.
And let's move the hell up.
Because they fixed the free-to-play thing.
Yes,
so
that's
you
fixed.
Fixed it. So just for the people that don't want to subscribe to Game Pass, there's an option there. You're still going to get money from them. And then just kill this stuff off. Just get rid of it.
This is like legacy stuff that it's almost like they don't know what to do with. And
they know what to do with it.
They don't know what to do with it. And I know what to do with it.
Well, they know what to do with it. They just don't want to give it that money yet.
Sure, and I get that. But I think your idea is probably a smarter way to transition. If it accounts for the people you can get to switch over and gives an out for the
Game
people
Pass
you will never
more
get.
Appealing.
Yeah, well, they're doing that by themselves, but yes.
And you'll still have people that are mad because, like, technically games with gold you own as long as you subscribe. Game Pass you don't. But who cares? Who cares? Game Pass, that's what I was saying. I hate the first of every month when this stuff, that's all it came out like. And I don't even know what games came out, but gold came out and people are like, these games suck compared to PlayStation. It's like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? There was 100 games last week added for Game Pass.
Yeah, they're going.
But this is just the game gold. Like, then you're just making a point with just the information that helps you make your point.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous. Outriders launches into Game Pass tomorrow.
I still don't believe it until I see it because it's on April 1st.
Away Days Gone. Outriders, day one, the first day that you could buy the game.
Let's be clear. PlayStation had some months upon months of garbage into those free games too. Plus, well, and it had garbage.
I'm a subscriber to PlayStation Plus, and I give them credit. PlayStation Plus, for what it is, has been a really good value.
Yes,
as an owner of a PlayStation 5 system, I've enjoyed having. I'm not throwing stones at PlayStation Plus. I'm just not liking this idea like where I'm going to compare the thing that makes the thing that I like more. It's like, but the argument, if you're comparing services, like let's compare services. What's the best service? Game Pass.
Of all of them. Of all of them, it is, yes.
PlayStation Plus is great, and it's better than Games with Gold. But here's the thing. Nobody cares about Games with Gold anymore. It doesn't matter. Quit caring. Quit looking at what games comes because it doesn't matter. Because Outriders, Narita Boy, 1,000 indie games, it doesn't matter anymore. It hasn't mattered for some time.
Yeah, the Games with Gold is almost confusingly bad for consumers now. Like, reduce the price of Live. Roll those games into Game Pass if you got to put them somewhere, or get rid of them.
Just do what Nintendo does.
Yeah.
That's what Nintendo does. They have Nintendo Switch Online. It's
cheap.
$30, and that's your Splatoon pass. That's
Nintendo
how you get to
Switch
play
Online
Splatoon.
is $20 for an individual user for an entire year, and it gives you your cloud saves and your nonsense.
$19.99. Yeah, and do the same thing.
Just do that.
Just do that. Say, hey, look, our Xbox. Call it. You know what? I've heard this. I've heard this idea. It wasn't necessarily for this, but now I'm going to kind of make this connection. I've heard the idea of doing like a Game Pass Lite. Mm-hmm. And this would be very equivalent to that. Get rid of Games with Gold, call it Game Pass Lite, and then just say like, hey, look, it's got Rare Replay,
No.
Fable 1 and 2.
It has only the first-party Microsoft games.
I wouldn't put all of them in there.
I would.
I would, but not at launch. I'm not giving you Gears 5 at Game Pass light prices. That's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, look, there's not that many first-party Microsoft games. They're only
No, they're really good. No, I wouldn't do that. I would just be like, look, here's a couple games. It's backwards compat stuff. It's 360 stuff. But it's $20 a year, and it includes your cloud save. It lets you play online with your friends.
I legit don't even think you should make it that complicated. I don't think Game Pass needs more tiers. I think that it should be like $20 to $30 a year for just play online with your friends and cloud saves. Yes, and I kind of hope that's where this is going because the games with gold have to go.
Just what a waste of
effort. It's just they got us talking about it. So
What's so funny because it's like, games with gold sucks. It's not as good as PlayStation Plus is. It's like no, it's not. No. Who's expecting it to be that good? PlayStation Plus is real good. You know why? Because it needs something to stack up to Game Pass.
Well, PlayStation Plus was good before Game Pass happened.
Not always.
No, not always. And it's had off months, too.
There has been a resurgent, motivated effort to make PlayStation Plus good for the launch of the PlayStation 5. Yes. Why? Game Pass.
I don't know that that's true. They have market share. I think they just can. I really just think it's a...
You think the PlayStation Plus collection for buying a PlayStation 5 has nothing to do with Game Pass at all?
I actually... No, I don't. I really don't.
It's Game Pass.
I don't think that. I think they knew that console was coming in hot, and that's why that happened. To be 100% honest, that's how I feel about it.
I appreciate that.
That's what I think. You can disagree, and that's okay.
It is 100% a market reaction to Game Pass.
I don't know that Sony feels that threatened yet. Because they have so much
they jumped
hardware.
From 7 million subscribers to 15 and counting.
Like I said, because Sony is still like, look at this mountain look at how many more PS5s. Well, yeah, but the mindset from Sony isn't on services yet. I think they're getting there.
But even just in the even if you're counting the hardware race, like to not even admit that Game Pass is an option for a lot of buyers out there would be a huge mistake on their part. I 100% believe the PlayStation Plus collection, the refocus and trying to the re-energized efforts to make PlayStation Plus a worthy subscription, I 100% is a way of them going like, hey, you're out there, you're looking at 2 consoles. You can buy one, has Game Pass, or you buy this other one, we've got to have something to say.
I think the resurgence in PlayStation Plus is related to how they feel about Game Pass. I think that PlayStation collection that they launched with the console was because that thing came in freaking hot. And they knew it was and they knew they were gonna have problems.
They're still adding to it.
They is that
No, they added more games to the PlayStation Plus collection.
No, wait. Are we talking about the games that do not require they're just free?
Play at home thing and all that?
Yeah, right? that's a different effort though. That's not part of that initial collection. I still think
it's all aimed at Game Pass.
Maybe, but that initial collection really read to me, and like I said, this is just how I feel about it, how I felt as a consumer buying a product. It read to me like, wow, you really know this thing came in a little spicy. Here's a distraction.
Yeah, it's interesting.
That's the way that I saw it. So, all right, I'm gonna pull one more, and then I'll give you one more if you want. I think this is interesting given our previous conversation about your Kishi. Rob 3000, will Xbox ever make any other types of hardware such as gaming laptops and phones? What are the pros and cons?
I have always wanted an Xbox branded PC tower.
Really?
Yeah.
I would want a laptop, not a tower.
Like the Xbox Series whatever desktop.
Really? You want them to call it Xbox?
I want it to have green lights and all that shit. Yeah, and I want to buy one for sure.
I would buy a laptop.
Like I think somebody last year, Dev sent it to me. Somebody last year built an Xbox PC that they auctioned.
I saw that.
Oh my God, I want one.
That was very cool.
That's what I want, yeah.
I think what I want and what makes sense are two different things. No, I don't think they'll make phones. I think they've realized that they've lost the...
Yeah.
There's no way.
Windows Phone was a...
They tried twice. They tried twice. I owned a... I don't want to talk about it. It was bad time, okay?
It's so funny that people were like, Microsoft needs to make back their money on the Bethesda investment. It's like, they made the Windows Phone and lost all that money.
Do you remember when they tried to compete with the iPod? What the hell did they call that thing? The
Zune.
I own one of those in a box.
I own 2 Zunes, yeah.
They're
good.
They were good, but they were great. But
sucked at market share. They were not very good competitive products, but as an MP3 playing device, they were fantastic.
No, it was a great device. They didn't have a prayer. I don't think they have a prayer at phones. I think if you want to launch, I could see them doing a partnership with somebody like MSI or Razer and saying, here's our Xbox branded version of their device. I don't think they'll release their own device. I don't think that makes sense.
I've always wanted an Xbox branded PC.
I'd buy a laptop.
I've actually always wanted an Xbox mode on PC. I would love to be able to flip into like a console.
It just boots like a console?
Like Steam big picture mode, but like Xbox mode.
I only agree to this if it gives me the Xbox 360 splash screen upon Switch. That's the one I want. Or it lets me choose which Xbox splash screen. I want the blades. I love the blades.
Everybody's so nostalgic about the blades. I think people are over nostalgic for the blades.
Yeah, I don't really want the blades. I like the current interface a lot. I want the splash screen that would boot up, the white screen with the looping. I want to choose which one of those.
That'd be really neat.
That'd be cool.
That's such a cool software thing that they could do to like the Game Pass app that would make it awesome.
Wait, Donnie, which one of their apps are we changing? Which one of their 12 million freaking apps?
Yeah, and this would be another app. It'd be like the Xbox PC experience or whatever.
I take it all back. I don't want any more.
Don't do this.
Don't do any more apps.
Do you want a handheld?
No, I think that it makes more sense to keep it all onto a phone device.
What if they released a tablet, like a little tablet that had something like this built in?
What's the price point?
$299?
$150? So Switch priced.
$199.
You got to go below Switch price. Yeah, you got to go down to $199.
Yeah, because here I'm thinking about it.
Can't come to the Switch. Can't step to the big boys.
If you're doing a screen and battery, and you want a nice screen, yeah, $199 is kind of.
But it's got to have a good Wi-Fi chip in it, and then the point becomes you're only going to be able to use it where you have Wi-Fi.
Because phones are expensive.
Phones are expensive.
People don't recognize this. The devices are like $800-900.
But you have it though.
Yeah.
It's leveraging an existing piece of technology.
And you're getting a subscription for it, and that subsidizes the cost.
I think that just, working with Razer and making controller adapters to phones almost makes more sense, right?
Oh, no, I'm with you. I don't think it's a good idea. I'm just, would they make a little Vita thing?
I don't think
a little Surface Boy or whatever.
I don't think they're in the market to make any more hardware than the two consoles they make. I just don't see. If I feel like they would have done it by now. I just don't think they care. I
wonder what the appeal would be. I really do. I wonder if you could sell. All right, let's talk numbers.
Here we go.
Let's say they've got a nice Switch Lite-esque device, controllers, button screen, everything. They can sell it for $200. Let's just say that.
Okay.
Can they sell 10 million of those?
No.
Then it's not worth doing.
I just don't think they can. You'd have to sell. That's 2/3 of your existing subscriber base on Game Pass. Think about it that way.
Yeah.
That's too much. No one's going to do that.
I would buy one.
Yeah, but we're stupid.
Yeah, we'll buy anything. I mean? We bought hoodies with our names on the back.
We're dumb. We buy dumb things. I own a onesie that says "Power Your Dreams" on it. So, maybe don't take my advice.
Yeah.
It would have to be that much though, and at $199 you're coming against the Switch Lite, and that's kind of stepping to the big boys.
That's got native games, exclusive games.
They're
this
Nintendo
would just
games.
Be a streaming thing, or I didn't even think about this. Do you go more expensive, and it's like a service that can actually run native games? Not all of them, but let's say half of them, and you can stream the other ones. That's a whole different.
Boy, but then if it's more expensive, then that's the Xbox Series S.
Because that's a thing, right?
Yeah, no, totally.
Like they have these little Windows switches and things that are like $600. But I saw somebody on YouTube the other day playing Metro.
Sure, because people are as stupid 4K
on an 8-inch screen or whatever.
But
with DLSS.
When you start to talk about hitting that amount of money, I can buy a console now. Do I really want another device in my backpack? Yeah, you know what I mean. I already got this phone. I think it's honestly a legitimate hard sell. I think this is a hard sell, and I don't think it makes sense.
I agree with you. I don't think they'll do it either. If they were to do it, NVIDIA with DLSS makes the most sense. But even then, I don't think it makes much sense.
I think a partnership with somebody like Razer to put their branding on a Blade laptop is something I'd see them doing first, though. Because
with what they're doing right now, for folks that aren't following the Microsoft stuff, so they've got this new Chrome-like OS that's coming out, Windows 10X, and they're going to start making Chromebook-like devices and things like that. So you have Surface, and that Surface is a giant brand for them.
I own one.
That's probably their best branding hardware that they've done.
Great laptop, man.
Because they're like on what now, like Surface 8 or 7 Pro or whatever now?
I'm not sure. I don't own a tablet. I own the book, the Surface Book for work. It's not mine. I would never. They're a beautiful piece of hardware.
Yeah, and for their enterprise stuff. So they've got Surface. They're going to come out with these Windows 10X things. So if you take that into equation, plus the market share that Android already has, there's more people just that have a tablet or a phone that they can pair to a controller or get one of these. Like that all just shrinks their margins.
Yeah. There's no reason to do it. Like I think that if they ran the numbers, and I suspect that's what's been happening, it doesn't make any sense. They're just like, oh man, just like people will play this on their Surface.
Yeah.
People will play this on their phone.
On their laptop, on their Chromebook, our Chromebook, on...
And then they look at it and they're just like, well, I guess if they subscribe to Game Pass, who cares?
They'll only sell it to the most devout hardcore fans. You're probably talking 5 million people.
It's not, I don't even think it would be that many. I think it would be half that. And I just don't think it would be enough. And that's okay. They don't have to make a dedicated device. I mean, you know, it doesn't have to, everything doesn't have to make sense for them. I think leveraging existing hardware makes way more sense financially.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I agree with you. Yeah. It's a good question, though.
That was a good question. I thought it was fun given the conversation. Why don't you snag one more before we get out of here?
Yeah, I'm going to pull an old one, too. And this one comes from Ed. Will Microsoft allow one of their developers to tell a narrative that will hit home to a lot of gamers? Title that will open their eyes and allow a discussion to happen across the industry. Ooh, sounds like he really wants Xbox to make a Naughty Dog game, huh?
Or you could argue that they're enabling devs to do that, like what happened with Tell Me Why.
Yeah.
Like, did enough people play that? Arguably, no. But is that a conversation that, you know, people are not having around video games? Yeah.
I think so.
And I think that's where I think what we'll see
love
is...
that game.
Yeah, it's great. And all of those games in that universe have been that kind of conversation that I think he's driving at. Like something that makes you think outside of your box. That's to me what this is question.
I was thinking of a groundswell moment where a game comes out and the entire industry stops to talk about it.
I think we're probably
a Zelda moment, a Last of Us moment.
The last time we had one of those moments, it was Cyberpunk, and it wasn't positive conversation.
Yeah, and the next one that we'll have, I imagine, would be Halo. I
hope so. Let me say it that way. I'm not sold yet.
For good or bad, to be clear.
I
For
think
good
that,
or bad. I think,
yeah, okay.
Like,
yes.
If I'm making a guess at what the next one is, then I would say it would be Halo.
I said that was their tipping point game. I made that assertion a couple of shows ago. I think that's the big deal, the biggest deal right now for this piece of hardware and for their services. So, yeah, I think you're probably right. It's funny how we read this question the same question two different ways. I read this as like social commentary conversations that games can drive. The right games can drive. It's interesting and
I do think they've done that, and they have that game that's in development, early development, that they showed during the Series X showcase. The name escapes me, but they had like that Telltale-like game that they were publishing. They've done the Tell Me Why. Like they seem to be pushing for that. I know it's something that they want to do. I hope they lean into it.
I like that they're allowing space for those developers to have a place to put those games, and they're working with them, because it's easy to shy away from games that are challenging socially, challenge social norms, and push people to have conversations that make them uncomfortable. It's easy to be like, no, not on our service.
They put them on a pedestal with Game Pass.
They do,
and they did Life is Strange.
They did with Life is Strange. They did with Tell Me Why. You could argue the medium has some conversations in it that are you know challenging for some people's like perceptions of the world. I think that stuff continues to be important, because like if you want your medium to be taken seriously as like like as seriously as TV shows and movies in terms of those conversations, then those kind of games have to get made, and those kind of conversations have to happen.
I agree with you, and it is interesting. I don't think Xbox has a developer that really pushes that, with maybe the exception of like the Hellblade franchise, maybe.
I would argue that, and then we'll see what Hellblade 2 does, because that first game definitely was a very big conversation about both grief and mental health. Huge conversation about that. And for a lot of people, it shook the apple tree on those things. They're like, whoa. But if 2 plays more like a video game and less into that conversation, which could totally happen, that might get lost.
Yeah. And I know Ninja Theory's got something else in the works. It's like all, they've got a bunch of different projects, but all of their stuff seems to be centered kind of around those sort of subjects. And I don't think any of their other studios really focus on anything like that, but we don't really know what Compulsion's doing.
Yeah, no, that's true. We really don't.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious to see how this evolves over time and what Microsoft, wants to put up on those pedestals.
What do they incubate?
Yeah, and what are they going to showcase, and how are they going to talk about those games as time goes on?
Yeah.
I think that's interesting. I think Microsoft of the three has done a really good job of highlighting those games because of Game Pass. Like they've had the opportunity in showcases to be like, look at Tell Me Why, here's this story.
Yeah, and Tell Me Why they published.
And look, yeah, they
so
did.
So they
and
put their money behind that one. And that new one that they're doing, the name, I'm sorry, but the one that they're working on with the new developer, I think the developer's from the Detroit team. Mm-hmm. But the one that they're doing, they're publishing and funding that development as well.
They have an opportunity every time they have these showcases of Game Pass games to put those conversations front and center, and they do a pretty good job of that. They are enabling developers to have that conversation kind of out loud, and they point to it and say, hey, look what we have coming. I don't think I've seen a ton of that out of Sony and Nintendo. They don't make a big to-do over difficult narratives, Yeah. So, and there honestly aren't that many of these games to begin with, but I think that
they're rare.
That's where this is going to go. It's got to go there, though.
But there more of them are happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how media evolves, you know? That's how TV shows and movies evolve, too.
Yep.
That was a good question.
I liked it. Ed. Thanks, Ed. I appreciate it, man.
Anything else you want to hit?
Nah, I think we've done it. Almost 2 hours here.
We dragged the horse behind the train even about golf for like an hour. It's fine.
Hopefully people stay with me through my golf rants. I don't get many of them.
You know that they're here for me to tease you about the golf.
Well, I do know that every time golf news happens, my notifications light up. So
it's the first person I think of anytime there is a tweet about video game golf is you. So just know that it's ingrained.
We all have our thing. I saw the Doom collection. I was like, I wonder if
everybody.
Yeah.
My notifications went so stupid for a little while there, and I was like, yeah, okay.
For me, it appears to be golf games and No More Hero stuff.
It's vinyl records, Viking stuff, and Doom for me.
Nice.
I'm definitely on
it's not bad at all.
It's pretty good, right? I look like a badass. You have golf. What are you doing? All right, look, before we jump out of here and I tease Donnie about golf further off air, let me hit up our Patreon producers. Thanks to everybody who supports the show on Patreon, on just Discord, retweeting tweets. We appreciate all of you, but a special shout out here real quick for our Patreons at the producer level. They are Michael Masick, Barry Cathcart, Edwin Callow, Stephen Keller, Nick Creature, Rude Days 93, Ben Moxham, Rob Emanuel, Nick Fallhaber, Paul Calicote, Kyle Heyman, Chris M., Devin Tyus, Josh Bourbon, RJ Kern, and Grouchy Surge. I'll have you know that Donnie is trying to distract me while I do this. And it didn't work because I'm a professional.
Professional.
Okay? Professional. Quotation marks. Is that it? Are we done here?
I think
Did we
we're
hit
done.
everything?
We're good.
The horse has been dragged. Go. Look.
Thoroughly beaten.
As we want to do on this podcast. All right, kids. We will be back next week. Until then, play some video games.
Peace, folks.